Man, I woke up and I was thought, I'll just have a chilled Chelsea news blitz. But something has triggered me, man. And if this doesn't put a fire, a rocket up our players' backside, I don't know what will, man. Some things that AC Milan coach said did not sit well with me, and I hope it doesn't sit well with our players.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about all things Chelsea, of course, but one of the main things that I do want to focus on is what Stefano Pioli just said a moment ago. Apparently, Empoli is a lot tougher than Chelsea. I mean, to be honest, I can't even be supremely mad because obviously we've been weak this season, but man, those comments they don't sit nice with me, and we're going to talk about that. But first up, ladies and gentlemen, the clearance, the clean out still continues at Chelsea Football Club. I didn't know too much about this, brother, so you guys can help me out in the comment section. But this is what's going on. One of the best in the business leaves Chelsea for McLaren Racing. So it wasn't as if he got sacked. He's actually found a better offer and he's moved on. Wishing Steve, I think his name is Steve Atkins, there you go, Director of Communications and Public Relations, probably for Chelsea Football Club. And people have some high praise about him. There's many journalists that's been coming out and saying really, really nice stuff about Steve Atkins. Nizar Kinsella said that, these are big shoes to fill. And yeah, apparently he's done a magnificent job. Look, I don't know, and probably has. When I think about public relations and all that, I think about the time last season, all the stuff that Thomas Tuchel had to go through. I mean, where was this brother, in terms of being available for those sort of things? I don't know what other things they do behind the scenes. Maybe they do a whole heap of stuff that we don't get to know about. And once again, as I said, you guys let me know in the comment section. But for me, not a huge loss from a fan's perspective, but could be a massive loss in terms of the Chelsea structure. Wishing Steve the best of luck in his new gig. Ex-Man City Director of Corporate Affairs, Toby Craig, will replace him. Another Man City. Well, apparently this isn't Man City. This is Man City Group. So there is a word missing here. So it's not ex-Man City. It's a Man City Group Director. Toby Craig will replace him. Tom Glick, once again, turning to his former club to fill a key role. Now, Tom Glick was the one that hired that Willoughby guy, whatever his name was. And we saw what happened to him and his dirty text messages. I hope he's done the character check on this brother named Toby Craig. So look, let's see what happens. And now we've got another Man City Group member into Chelsea. We are influxing our club with Man City Group officials. Craig has held various corporate communications and commercial positions for City Football Group since 2014 and was head of communications for the General Counsel of the club. But look, I don't know how much this is going to mean to the fans, but you guys let me know. I'm going to move straight into this particular news, which is eating me up. Milan coach Stefano Pioli. I understand there are expectations around the Chelsea games, but I maintain the most difficult match for us will certainly be against Empoli. I trust that if we play at our usual levels, then results against Chelsea are certainly within our reach. I mean, I know he's trying to be very cool and calm about it in this last line. If we play at our best level, we should be able to beat Chelsea. It's just, this didn't sit well with me, that maintain the most difficult match for us, certainly against Empoli. Like that, why the need to say that is the, look at this. I understand there are expectations around Chelsea games, but I maintain the most difficult match for us will certainly be against Empoli. Like, he's clearly stating, if we play our normal level, we should be able to take care of Chelsea, but it's Empoli that we should be worried about. Normal levels against them ain't going to cut it. We're going to be at, utmost optimum best. Look, Chelsea, to each and every one of you players, here's a message just for you. I hope you guys have seen this message, and I hope it creates a burning desire inside you. If you've got any sort of pride in yourself and to the team and for the fans, you will use this as a way to really ignite your motivation for the upcoming 2 matches. We are in the brinks of getting knocked out from the Champions League, which is going to be such a shame for a club like Chelsea Football Club. I hope you guys take this and go out there and beat AC Milan, both the legs, home and away, and get ourselves back into the Champions League, frame of things. Please. It's been a lackluster season so far. There's not been too much to be happy about. There's been so much instability, people getting sacked, leaving left, right, and center, dirty messages, players talking, writing books, all sorts. Please go out and do the business against AC Milan. I honestly beg you. The fans are dying for something to cheer about, and this is now on you guys to go out there and punish AC Milan. You cannot let these comments just let it fly like that. No. When a manager, Milan's coach, is saying the most important upcoming game is actually Empoli and not Chelsea, because we believe if we play to our normal level, we should be able to take it. Like, he's got no concerns about Chelsea. He's got absolutely no concerns about Chelsea, and it doesn't sit well with me. Please, Chelsea players, show some pride. Show some pride. Okay, next up. There's always a lot of talks that's happening around N'Golo Kante, and it's going to continue to happen because it's in his final year with the injuries as well. Look, I've got no issues that I've said. I don't mind keeping him. I'm okay with him keeping. But in terms of minutes, I'm not sure. I do want to start revamping the midfield. I do want to start looking forward to the future. I think the future is bright with players like Chukwuemeka, with Cesar Casady, who's in the playing right now in the academy team. There's other players like Conor Gallagher and so on and so forth. I know a lot of you guys have reservations about Conor Gallagher, so do I. But we should look at buying players as well. Jude Bellingham, Edson Alvarez, so many names out there. We should look to revamp for the future. As I said, I've got no issues with keeping N'Golo Kante, but there is huge question marks around his health and, of course, the contract length. He wants a longer contract, and Chelsea apparently not willing to. Juventus's name has been thrown out there. Their particular team, they're very interested about N'Golo Kante. Apparently was interested in the summer that just went by, the summer window. Possibly someone who could come around and give N'Golo Kante a good offer. Let's have a read at what Ben Jacobs had to say about this. Juventus' interest in N'Golo Kante is only superficial at this point. Lots of clubs monitoring his situation, including PSG. Juventus first inquired on Kante during dialogue surrounding then Juve defender Matthias de Ligt, but Max Allegri preferred Jorginho, who wasn't keen. It's interesting. Max Allegri preferred Jorginho, but Jorginho wasn't keen to go to Juventus. You'd think he'd probably take Juventus, knowing there's always been talks about, well, it's probably not from him, but there's always been talks from his agent that he wants to go back to Italy. I find that quite strange. I still think Jorginho probably needs to move on as well. Sood is aware that Graham Potter's arrival may change the Kante situation. Although currently no contract extension is closed, Potter has always been a big fan of Kante from afar and now keen to assess his form and role when fit. So let's see. Look, who isn't a fan? Which manager has never been a fan of N'Golo Kante? All of them are fans. Kante, one of the highest earners at the club, which complicates matters. Midfield incomings in January will naturally influence the situation too. Yeah, we have to revamp. We got to revamp, and we've got lots of midfielders that probably needs to move on as well. And there's probably question marks around them, Ruben Loftus-Cheek being one of them as well. As an aside, Juventus also considered a loan with option to buy for Christian Pulisic over the summer. Pulisic keen to link up with Weston McKennie, but in the end, after some time, internal talks, no offer was made. Look, obviously, Pulisic, he's a question mark, seems to be attracting some sort of interest from Newcastle, Juventus as well. So, look, if he doesn't get enough game time by the time January comes around, time to possibly move him on as well. But after World Cup, you never know where the headspace might be for Christian Pulisic. But ladies and gentlemen, look, with N'Golo Kante, what do we say? We've talked enough about N'Golo Kante. I think it's time we revamp the midfield. I'm okay for him to stay, but if he's okay to have lesser minutes and maybe some minutes off the bench down the track, he is aging as well, maybe that's best for his health and for his longevity. I don't mind him coming off the bench and playing those final 25 minutes, 30 minutes or so, which will add a lot of impetus to our team. But if he's able to accept that kind of role in the future and play that odd game, start those odd games, then okay. But if he's willing to be a prominent member still, but he's unavailable most of the times, and he's on high wages, and he wants a longer contract, it's just too many things that go against him. Now, Brad Friedel talks a little bit about Slonina, which is important. I want you guys to have a look at this. I know there's been a bit of hype about Slonina in recent times, thinking he's going to become Chelsea #1, this, that, the other. I think we just need to calm down. He is a young goalkeeper, and he's still got a long way to go. And this is what Brad Friedel talks about. I know Slonina well. So being American, obviously, he would know him well. I have watched him a lot. He's one for a long way ahead. I would assume they would be looking for loans for him. There is a long way to go to be Chelsea's #1. I would assume they purchased him as a project for the future. Further goes, and that's it on Slonina. So, but as you can see from Brad Friedel, we need to calm down. And I know there's been talks about him coming back in January, possibly to Chelsea, but it is kind of crazy to think that he's going to take over from Mendy, Kepa. Those two keepers are well experienced, so this kid still got a long way to go. And as Friedel said, loan is probably the best way to go about next up. A Premier League loan, Championship loan, either way, or maybe somewhere else in Europe loan, I think is prudent. We need to see how Slonina does in a bigger stage, and no disrespect to MLS. Now, this is what Havertz had to say about Tuchel's dismissal. Havertz on Tuchel's dismissal, me too. It surprised me. It surprised a lot of the players, especially when you consider how we've played in the past year and a half and what we've won. With the current 6th place in the table, you can't speak of a messed up start to the season. You can't speak of a messed up start to the season. Well, you can. I don't know what he meant exactly by that, especially since when we have many newcomers who first have to acclimatize, but football is very fast moving. A lot can happen anytime. So look, as you can see, these players had no idea that Thomas Tuchel was going to get sacked. They very much thought he was going to be sticking around with all these new players that came in. They thought that the owners were backing him, but clearly they weren't in the understanding that the owners just simply fell out with Thomas Tuchel. They wanted someone else. We won't go into the details of that. I think it's well documented. I think it caught Thomas Tuchel by surprise as well with his emotional message that he put out a few days back. But yeah, Havertz, look, I'm glad you've come out and you've said something and you've expressed your feelings. But I have to say, Kai, you've got to step up, man. And I don't want to just blame Kai Havertz. There's all these other players that have been in the same boat of not being able to score enough, not being able to produce enough assists, which ultimately has hurt Thomas Tuchel as well. Yes, Thomas Tuchel takes blame too, no doubts about that. But these players have not done the due diligence as well. So look, Kai, had you not missed some of those monumental stuff last season and even this season as well, maybe that would have gone a long way. But it is what it is, and it's just not on Kai, as I said. It's on many other players: Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic, Kalamatanadoy, Ziyech. The list goes on. And as I said, maybe Thomas Tuchel had some part in it as well to try and see if he got the best out of them. He seems like he fell out with a lot of them. But Kai is one I think definitely Thomas Tuchel didn't fall out with. Kai Havertz, in regards to the new coach, our new coach, Graham Potter, has made a very good impression. We have a great squad. I think we're in for a good time. So hopefully Kai Havertz and Graham Potter, I just hope Graham Potter can develop Kai Havertz and get the best out of Kai Havertz, can find the right role for him. I really liked how he played that. He was in that free role in the last match against Salzburg, but obviously Kai Havertz didn't do enough. But I liked the thought process of Graham Potter, and I would like to see Kai in that position more, just behind the striker, more as a central attacking midfielder, and see where it goes. But Kai has to put on the hard yards as well. He's got to put the efforts. So let's see what happens. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea goalkeeper Edouard Mendy has returned to England early from international duty due to a recurring knee injury. So maybe this brother could possibly be out for a little longer. Now a knee injury that we're talking about on top of the injury that he had sustained a couple of matches back, Possibly we're going to see a lot more of Kepa in the upcoming matches in October. As I said, this is proper now competition for Edouard Mendy with Graham Potter in, wanting to play out from the back, goalkeeper being a very, very prominent position for him. Let's see what Mendy can do. I think Kepa as well should look at this situation and really try and cement a position if he can. But the competition is going to be great once again, and let's see who comes out of it on top. And I know as much as we want clarity in that goalkeeping position, but at the moment, there is not much clarity. That's the thing. One's a very good shot stopper, better than, Mendy's a better shot stopper than Kepa, but one's a better ball-playing goalkeeper. So what do you balance out? And as I said, in recent times, Mendy with the shot stopping has been a bit strange too. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know how you feel about everything we've talked about. Most importantly, Stefano Pioli, his comments. I want to know how you feel about that in the comment section below. Hope you've enjoyed this. Smash the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time, see ya.